Live. Check, check.
Check, check, check. We're going to talk about drum samples.
Drum samples. Super live. Drum. What's up? Jake Reed here.
Greazy Wil.
We recorded a sample pack.
Super live drums at
East
West
Studio One. Should we just do this like synchronized? Like we don't
the whole thing? Yeah.
The whole thing.
We'll just East West Studio One.
That's the big room there.
The big room there.
Look it up on the internet.
Look it up on the internet.
Huge
studio.
Big. So we're going to do a tour. I have my screen recording here. So when you download this pack, this is what it will look like when you open it. There's two packs. Here's the thing. We made super live drums, which we will go through that pack first. But then Greazy over here was like, hey, I'm going to do my own just absolutely insane mixes. 3 different mixes of every single loop and every single one shot in here. So you get crazy one shots and crazy loops from Wil in the second pack, which is called the Greazy Wil edition. There's a bundle available too. You just buy them both. It's a bundled rate. You get the normal stuff of us just being in a giant room, huge room. Huge. Or the Greazy version there. Or you just get them both together and Bob's your uncle. This is the main pack. Super live drums, super simple beats, simple lines intertwining. Let's start with 60 BPM. 1, 3. Wow.
Nailed it.
8th note hi-hats.
Nice decay. Somebody commented that they love the decay of the hi-hat, and I was like, it's the decay of the whole room.
There's a reason that room has been in existence for
65. Bill Putnam opened it up, and it has been in constant use pretty much since then.
Good room, good drums, okay drummer. Sounds great.
Spectacular engineer.
Listen to the space. You get the idea of what's going on. So we did that for lots of tempi. That's the plural of tempo. I know. I went to music school.
Wait, is that real? It really is. Tempi is the plural. Wait, is there a plural? I thought it was tempos.
No.
Tempe.
Nope.
Like
Tempe.
Phoenix.
Tempe, Arizona. Yep.
Tempe.
So we did all these different tempi. But we did it so that the range of them,
I'm going to stick to saying tempos because it makes me sound less pretentious, and I need that in my life.
Easily stretchable tempi.
Tempos. Tomatoes tempi.
One of my personal favorite tempos, 92.
I think you made a good point. The easily stretchable tempos. We kind of nailed a lot of very common tempos. You want to have something that's close enough to what you're trying to get because it's hard to imagine it whenever you're hitting a tempo that's like way off from where you're at. But
here's the thing. Yesterday, I played on a track. The tempo was 121 BPM. Well, guess what? Here's 120. You just speed it up by 1. Doesn't get much simpler than that. So one thing we did, which was very forward-thinking of Wil set up a tape machine in the control room so we could get a cool tape slap. The whole premise of this pack was we're in a giant room. Let's do our version of When the Levee Breaks, but just make it like the modern version of that. We set up a tape machine to get a tape slap, which is not how they did it on the original. But
no, it was just actually just a giant room. The size of the rooms were so big that it took that long.
It's a stairwell.
Yeah, it took that long for the signal to get to there.
We don't have a stairwell. We don't have a stairwell.
Now you'll notice when you're listening to those, although there is a slap with the hat, it's not as pronounced as it is with the kick and the snare, which is intentional because we only put the kick and the snare through the tape slap. If you put the whole thing through the tape slap, it's just too much, especially when you start getting crazy. Naturally, there's some bleed from the hi-hat, and it's getting in there a little bit, but it's not as dramatic as what the kick and the snare are. Nice.
Really nice with the ride.
Yeah, it sounds really great.
Love it
The
with
ride
the ride.
is not overbearing
Yep.
in the slap. It's like
So
very
good.
clean sounding.
6/8. I try to do like 2-bar patterns or 4-bar patterns, depending on how you're thinking about it. Make them different so that if you just want like the first part of it or the second part
second
of
half of it,
then
you
it's
can-
like you're getting twice at half the price.
Yep.
There's ghost notes in there, stuff that's really hard to program. That's the main thing. I'm trying to play stuff that is hard to program. You don't have to worry about programming it if I already played it for you. You're just trying to write a song. You don't want to sit there and like, how do I, with the, you know.
Yeah,
just
definitely not.
keep it easy. Oh, here's our sample pack theme. Should we do it?
Oh, sample pack theme. Let's do it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sample pack, sample pack, sample pack, sample pack,
Live!
sample.
We're going to take that on tour.
Dude, I think we got a hit on our hands.
Yeah, we got a hit.
Hey, something really rad that we did in this pack that's different from all my other packs. Well, I did this in supernatural drums, kind of, but we recorded a bunch of percussion. We did shakers and tambourines. Wow, I love playing shaker. So that's just like a really bright sounding natural shaker that's gonna blend well. The hi-hats I used on this are 17-inch hi-hats, so they're darker and a little lower in pitch. If you blend them with this brighter shaker, it's gonna sound really nice together. They're not gonna be competing sonically.
Yeah, and we actually recorded these together with a loop so that
Right.
they should actually feel solid with the loops as well.
And then here's a darker shaker. 16ths.
It's a nutty shaker to me. It's very like,
What's a gourd?
yeah, it's got a very like organic sound to it.
Yeah, that was the goal. Something kind of, it's almost like lo-fi sounding, like someone just chopped off all the top end.
And then my favorite shaker that I made myself.
I love this shaker too. It's a Voss plastic water bottle with corn uncooked. Awesome tambourine. Sometimes you just want eighth notes with no accent. There it is. Eighth notes with an accent. So this is my tambourine. That's my 60s Ludwig tambourine. Here's the one I found for Will. That's also a 60s Ludwig, but it's a different size, and therefore it's a different sound. And I almost love yours better. But I mean, there's no good or there's no better or worse.
It's just
just
the right
different.
for the song.
Just whatever works for the song.
Yeah.
Accents.
Nice.
So that's perk. Lots of different tempi
Tempos.
there. Moving on. Old time rock and roll.
And they get old time rock and roll. Go. Yeah, that's got some. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you.
You might
But
need
it's gonna take money.
Money!
A whole lot of money. I don't know how the song goes. Actually.
I was kind of thinking of Zeppelin rock and roll. Like if you get down to some of these. Obviously, I spelled Levy wrong. I know.
Intentionally.
I named this after
Eugene Levy.
This
This isn't about the Levy breaks. This
Yeah.
is about Eugene Levy.
We called this Levy because they're all sort of inspired by When the Levy Breaks. Obviously, nobody can do it like John Bonham did. That's not our goal. It's just grooves that are sort of in the ballpark, in the realm, the same character,
Yeah.
right? Get extra hi-hat openings, and it's just it's just variations. Ghost notes. Fun. You guys wanna sing one?
Keep on ready, wherever it's going. I'm not ready, you know. Ready, go, Gritty.
Ready?
If it keeps on raining, Levy's gonna break.
I'm going to Chicago.
You really ought to show the levee with the tape slap too. Levy's gonna break. Nailed it.
Here's the cool thing. We did a different tempi. What if they were like, hey, this song's just too slow.
Hey, John. Hey, Bonzo. We've got to play this at 100 BPM. What if we sped this up a bunch?
Well, first of all, we're actually using a click track. So.
What? They didn't use click tracks back then? Get in, the Levy's gonna bring. He never keeps on ready.
We're like Beavis and Butthead. It's like,
Yeah. That chick said she would have sex with us. She's gonna do
Can you
us.
be on? Can you be on all of my videos?
Yeah, keep on ready.
Hey, you want to know something really rad, Will?
Yeah.
Remember that time when we made a sample pack together, and we were like, "What if people want a more punchy, modern kick drum, with a hole in it?"
Yeah, we did.
What if the snare drum, well, let's just get something else. This is a nice sounding bell brass drum. It's kind of tuned high. What if we just get a different snare that's a little lower, but still bright metal quality? But it's
well, then that would be the Kit B drum, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. So here's kit B. It's a supplemental kit. So let's start with some simple beats real quick. I love this bass drum. It's one of my favorites of all time, I think. Amazing. Awesome. Let's check out 100.
To me, it's so crazy. It's the same everything. Same room, same mics.
Same drummer.
Same setup, same drummer, same engineer. But a kick and the snare changed, and it's completely different,
Just moving the air different in there, isn't it? It just hits. It hits different. That's what the kids say. They still say that?
Yeah, I think so.
This one's just called Heavy. Heavy, Doc.
Yeah, heavy. What's it? Is there something going wrong with the Earth's gravitational field in the 80s?
There's that word again.
There's that word again.
Okay. I love the sound of that room.
Sounds really great.
As an engineer who does a lot of mixing, could you take the one shots, fly it into your mix on a snare that just needs some more life to it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I use the one shots from the previous Super Dead kits as samples to put in my trigger. If I'm doing something with somebody else's kit and I'm like, dang, I really wish their kick and snare actually sounded like a good kick and snare, I will layer it right on top of what is already in the trigger kit, and bam, now I have a kick and snare that sounds pretty good.
What would be a context where you would use a super live?
I mean, I think
snare.
In this situation, it's exactly that. You recorded a tighter drum set, but they want to have some liveness to it. You could layer this on top of it and just get the liveness from the snare alone, and without adding a reverb throw or whatever.
No reverb necessary.
You just use that sample.
By the way, none of these samples have reverb on them.
No, this is just the sound of the room itself.
This is the sound of that room.
It's a big ass room.
Huge.
Everybody loves the halftime shuffle.
What song could this remind you of?
Get down, bear down. Get down, 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 down.
Let's get funky for a second. Again, no reverb on this stuff.
Yeah, it's just the way the room sounds.
Love that. It's heavy funky. It's not light like Tower of Power.
You gotta show the Punxsutawney Phil.
Wow. You think he's going to see a shadow this year?
He is going to see his
Look
shadow.
at all these fills. 16 60 BPM fills. There's a lot.
There's a lot of fills.
There's a lot of fills. Let's check out. Let's just do 72 for fun. And that one we left the ride cymbal in because when you get to a fill, if that ride cymbal, if we hadn't,
right,
it's where'd that ride cymbal go on that fill? Well, it's still there.
Nice.
We had to be very diligent about how we
chopped the ends.
Well, how we did that, but also how we recorded. We had to have the groove going before because you have to have the decay of the room happening before. Whereas like super dead drums, it's all so tight, you don't really need
to
any
worry
of that
about
stuff.
it. Yeah. The old Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
Pat Boone, Debbie Boone never gets old.
Never gets old.
That's just Debbie Boone.
Yeah, just Debbie.
Oh,
she's all by herself.
Pat was busy that day.
Yeah. Do we have any bucket of fish? Bucket of fish.
Bucket of fish.
Yeah, it was almost a bucket of fish. Yeah. I like that one. That's my favorite one.
That's.
I'm gonna hit this thing so many times that you can't even imagine.
Wow.
Nice.
Those toms, dude.
They sound really good.
Oh, double time.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's see if we can find little Nirvana.
Yeah. There we go.
Dave.
Fresh Pots! As a producer, I damn near would do a straight kit and then a tape slap fill just for the vibe of how weird it is. It's
Just
like,
get a little John Lennon in your,
just
in
get
your
a
drum
little weird
fills.
for a second. Nice.
Imagine all the people.
Nice.
It's like I'm playing twice as many notes as I actually was.
Really does make them cool.
I mean, that's like classic. That's like Ringo, but in Bonham and Glenn Johns.
Glyn Jones.
Glenn John. Glenn Johns.
Glyn Jones.
Glenn.
Glyn.
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 Glyn Jones.
Glenn Johns.
Glyn Jones.
Triplets. Nice. Driving. How about some disco?
Love me some disco. Some Tony Thompson.
Wow. Good reference, Will.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So good.
Hi-hat loops.
Hi-hat loops.
Nice. That's got some bounce chicka bow out.
I mean, it could be like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, I can see that.
Bam, bam.
Oh yeah.
Funky guys. Funky.
Funky.
Here's Funky A-Kit.
Funky fresh. Nice. It's like some Chad Smith.
What else we got? Kind of is Chad Smith. If I had the open hi-hats on that,
yeah.
Bumped, bow down, down, down.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
That is funky.
It sounds pretty funky.
That's Wednesday's cheese funky.
That's well, that's good times, bad times. I totally ripped that. Yeah. Lots of one-shots. Kit A one-shots. Look at all these multiple velocities. Look at how many hi-hat velocities there are.
The most hi-hat velocities you can have.
Kick drums. Lots of kick drums.
Lots of kick drums. Look at that. 9 velocities.
Let's just
of
check
kick
out.
drums
This
with
is
multiple...
Kit A. Let's go like a medium velocity here.
Ooh.
Very nice. Warm. Round.
Warm. Round. Roomy. Plenty of decay.
Velocity 9.
Ugh.
Wow. Ride cymbals, ride bells, snares.
Now, there are going to be people that are curious why we did not do the tape slap version of the one-shots.
I'll give you one word. Tempi.
Tempi. If you put slap on a time-based effect on a one-shot, you are stuck in that one-shot being that tempo.
You're locked in.
So we did not do that.
But you know what? They make plugins for that. It's just not going to be the same. But it'll be close. Proximity isn't everything, but it's close.
Ba-boom, boom.
Snares. This is the DW bell brass snare from kit A. Sounds beautiful. There's 21 velocities of this because they're all a little bit different. Listen to that decay. That'll work for any of your tempos.
Yes.
Tempi.
Tempi.
Hold the line.
That's a great song.
And you know what it starts with?
Flam. Thanks, Jeff.
Lots of tom velocities. High tom. That's, I mean, what more do you need?
Money shot.
Just pack all of the character into it as we can. So you hear the snares, too. You hear a little bit of that snare sizzle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
part of the vibe. Okay.
That's the vibe.
Floor tom. Here's the loudest one. Yeah.
Same.
Okay, kit B. Speaking of 4 on the floor, there's 1 on the floor.
1 on the floor.
Oh, I also just did snare rolls.
Oh, snare rolls. Nice. Nice.
Oh, that sounds nice. Big room, big snare roll. What's not to love?
Ooh.
And the winner is...
I'm about to dive off of a diving board right now. Woo.
Just put a crash cymbal there. This is good for all your sitcom,
Yeah.
all you composers out
If
there.
you're scoring a sitcom, this is going to do it for you.
Snares for kit B. How about a big loud one?
Nice. Oh.
That was a rim shot. There you go. You get more than you bargained for. Percussion one-shots. Say like, hey, I just need some tambos.
Nice long shake.
Nice long shake, but then you also just get... Now you put some reverb on that.
Listen to that decay of that. Nice. Beautiful.
I went to school for 10 years to be able to do that. Just kidding.
It was 7.
Not-
It was
Lots of people go to school for 10 years.
Yeah, they're called doctors, Richard.
Tommy boy.
Music right
Cymbal
there.
swells. Cymbal swells.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
they have to go faster for it to really work. but-
Silver, like silver bells.
yeah.
You guys get the idea. But there's 2 cymbals.
It's that right ear joy for me. My left ear, it gets too much, but my right
It's
ear, oof.
I heard about that. What is this alt perk?
Alt perk is these weird things.
Oh, yeah, all these shells.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That with a bunch of reverb, you don't even need a snare drum. Sometimes producers will say to me, you've done this before, hey, what if it's like a snare drum but not actually a snare drum?
Tub.
Here's the Greazy Wil edition. It's literally the same pack as the other one, except different mixes. Your mixes are pretty baller.
So here's the thing that was cool about it. The original, like the super live drum mix, that's the safe mix. It's live, it's cool, it's real. The greasy mixes are the not safe mixes. These are the I am going for. If you actually said to me tomorrow, hey man, let's set up a session and I want to do Bonham drums, I'd be like, okay, cool. That is either A or B to me because it is not what Bonham drums actually sound like. That is your memory being like, oh yeah, those drums sound great. They don't sound great. They sound cool in the moment. They sound cool in that song. But if you're trying to do a modern version of that, we want this. And that's where the Grease A, Grease B, and to an extent the Grease C, but the Grease C is really where we get into some weird stuff. So
Right. So you go to your super simple beats, and then we got 3 different mixes here. There's Greasy A, Greasy B, Greasy C. So you go in. One more.
you can really hear that low end.
Oh,
Hold out. Now
That's
again,
amazing.
I didn't add anything to these. All I did was take time-honored traditions of how to mix records and apply that. Like I didn't add any extra reverb. I didn't add any, these are same thing. I just compressed the rooms a lot more so that the rooms are really holding out for longer. The more you compress it and the slower the release is, because you don't want, if fast release, it'll just come off and the rooms will open up right away and then it'll be, normal. But if you have a slow release, it's going to keep compressing it, which means it's going to keep lifting that level up to have across this whole waveform here. And as that's going, you're going to hear that decay last longer. So I'm compressing these more. I am slamming on the kick drums because I want them to have all the low end in the world, but not always. If you listen to like the cymbal crashes, and they're not destroying your ears, which is typical of compression. Oh, I compress these, so now I can't hear them.
These are intense mixes, but they're not offensive.
Yeah, they're not unusable.
Yeah,
they're
it's
usable mixes.
musical. Okay, so that's awesome. Let's find mix B of that.
So the Greazy B mixes are definitely the more distorted. I tried to imagine with the 3 mixes, 3 possibilities that someone would be like, hey, what would you do with this? Like, I have this thing and I want this song to be just mean as hell. How do you mix that to do that? And so for the Greazy B, we're talking cultural vulture. We're talking some real serious drive on the whole thing, but in the right places so that, again, the rooms themselves are not really the gritty part. Like, you're hearing them compressed,
right.
But you're not, like, the kick drum is the gritty thing. The snare drum is the gritty thing. The rooms are still kind of holding open. So it's not unusable. It's just a really heavy, saturated drum beat.
It's intense.
Yeah.
I love it.
Greazy C is a little bit different, where I started adding some time-based effects. I did some really cool stuff on this.
Let's check it out.
So classic, like, Nine Inch Nails kick snare stuff, the snare was always a white noise snare. Yeah, exactly. What I did is I took a gate and I put it on the snare so that anytime the snare triggered, it also opened up some white noise. And then that white noise is going to a few different processing things, but one of them being a ping pong delay, so that it's going
just with the, yeah.
And it's kind of doing almost like a hat movement as well.
That's great.
But it sounds just really cool.
Sample pack theme.
Yeah.
Levy breaks. You ready?
I'm always ready.
You ready?
Sample. Yeah. Even keys on rating. Sample packs will play.
Sample pack live.
Dude, this is so heavy.
My face is stuck like this now. Here, mix C. That's like this. The hats. And let's say, like, you go, hey, Greazy, you know what? That kick drum, I don't like it. It's too long. Well, we got you covered because kit B has that shorter kick, and therefore you're going to get that low end saturation and compression from the rooms, but it's not going to be that long. So let's check that out real quick. Listen to that. Whack. It's like, whack. Is that an accurate description?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about 120? I like that.
Yeah, just it driving. I love that feel.
Kind of in the cracks a little bit. It's not perfectly eighth notes and it's not perfectly triplets. It's in the cracks.
Let's hear Greazy B Levy 80.
Got heavy beats, 3 mixes of that. Epic. You did a fantastic job on these mixes.
Thank you.
I just love it. This Greazy A mix I was noticing is so awesome because the way that the snare blossoms in the room.
Yeah.
Variations on a Purdy shuffle. It's The Fool in the Rain, Babylon Sisters, Home at Last, Rosanna. These Chains, that's another Toto halftime
Every time
shuffle.
somebody posts a Purdy shuffle on the internet, someone will say, that sounds like Fool in the Rain. And then somebody else will be like, sounds like Rosanna. And it'll always be people like not recognizing that drum beats are just like, they're all the same.
I love the way that the compression works on that. The hi-hats only pop out when the kick and snare
because it's smashing so hard at
it's
times.
so good.
It's using techniques of engineering to do the thing that you want it to do.
Yeah, with dynamics.
It's like dynamics and stuff.
Dynamics. I'm playing as loud as I can. Lastly, but not leastly.
Never leastly.
Greazy PERC.
These are taking all the loops that we already had from the main pack, and I added some.
There's so much.
Some cool flavor to them, and some of them changed the accents, changed the feel completely of the way.
It's pre-affected. Boom. Instant vibe. I want to go back to Greazy B though.
Yeah, do the
There's
B's
so
because
many
the
mixes.
B's are so interesting.
There's so many subfolders. Let's just do 118 again. Is that like a non-lin?
No.
What'd you use?
This is actually a really interesting thing that I did with these shakers. I had a tremolator going that was opening and closing at basically different times for each loop because it was like on a set program, but it was like kind of opening and closing at different times. That's
awesome. Just to summarize, look at this. So you get into the Greazy Wil edition, Greazy Loops, 3.6 gigabytes
of loops.
That's just the loops, all these different mixes.
We're going to give something with this that's a little bit special. These have all taken a lot of time to really curate properly and get the sound so that they will be applicable to a lot of different situations. They could absolutely go in any type of music, but I think most specifically I was thinking of our pop producers and our rap producers out there that are working with stuff that they're not used to having this type of sound, but they would love to have this type of sound.
But, you know, it works for really anything.
It really does work.
Drums are universal. I mean, it works for indie rock, singer-songwriter, country music.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
The Greazy Wil edition, you get 4.21 gigabytes of loops and one-shots. Super Live Drums is obviously smaller than that because it doesn't have as many mix variations. 2.71 gigabytes.
That's big.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's between the two of them, that's 6-7 gigs.
It's close to 7 gigabytes. It's big. It's Super Live Drums.
Super Live Drums. This is the better part of a year in the making. We put a lot of time and energy into this. I tried to approach this from a standpoint of what I would do. We're not looking to do what everybody else has done. The records that I've worked on, the literal Grammy Award-winning Killer Mike album that I did last year, tried to bring the sensibility of like, this is something that I want people to be able to like really use. Anytime somebody says, I wish my drums were big, you open this pack up and it is all there.
It's amazing. I love it. I love your mixes on this. Again, we're not trying to be like John Bonham. We're not using John Bonham sizes. This is just a 22-inch bass drum.
Not even using a John Bonham brand.
Nope. And cymbals nor drums. But, you know, whatever. It sounds great. I love it. Anything else we want to say?
Yeah, Super Live Drums. Buy the Super Live Drums. Get Super Live Drums for your recording enjoyment. Get the drums that you need for your good music.
But wait, there's more.
There's more.
No, there's no more. Just get the live drums.
Get the live drums.
That's all you need. Okay. Later.
Super Live Drums.